Hello everyone. In this video I am going to discuss about the other electrophoretic technique, that is pulsed field gel electrophoresis technique. We simply call it as PFGE. Okay. In my previous video I told you about the agarose gel electrophoresis, right, where we are going to separate the DNA molecules based on the size and the charge. Here the principle of electrophoresis is same, but only variation with the agarose gel electrophoresis and with this technique is that here we are going to separate the larger DNA molecules with a better resolution. In the conventional method of agarose gel electrophoresis, what we have done, we have separated the DNA fragments and up to a limit of 20 kilo base pairs. With this technique, it is possible to separate the larger DNA fragments with a better resolution compared to the conventional method of agarose gel electrophoresis, where we can go up to a limit of 20 kilo base pairs. But the larger fragments which are above this 20 kilo base pairs in length can be successfully separated with the help of this technique. So it is an advanced technique. This agarose gel electrophoresis is a conventional method, but this pulsed field gel electrophoresis is an advanced technique that was developed by David C. Schwartz and Charles Cantor in the year 1984 at the Columbia University. They made a slight variation because when you observe a gel picture, like I'll explain you in detail with the diagrammatic representation, just look it here. This is the conventional method of agarose gel electrophoresis and this is the pulsed field gel electrophoresis. Okay, the concept of electrophoresis is same, that is the separation of molecules based on the size and the charge, and moreover the DNA which carries the negative charge will move towards the positive charge. Okay, and here also, here the movement is only in one direction, that is of course from the negative charge to the positive charge, and using this technique we can separate the DNA which are of about 20 kilo base pairs in length. But what if the DNA fragment is above this 20 kilo base pairs? That is, if the DNA fragment is 30 kilo base pairs or 50 kilo base pairs or 100 kilo base pairs, that cannot be separated easily with the help of this conventional gel electrophoresis technique, where we can go with the other technique called pulsed field gel electrophoresis technique, which helps us to separate the larger DNA fragments, where you can separate the fragments of around 100 kilo base pairs successfully with the help of this technique. So it is an advanced version that was developed by David and Charles at the Columbia University in the year 1984. These people has made a slight variation by alternating the voltage gradient. That helps us to improve the resolution of larger DNA fragments. Here in this technique what exactly happens is voltage is periodically switched in three directions. Okay, that is, in the conventional method it runs only in one direction, right? But when it comes to the pulsed field gel electrophoresis, we are going to switch the direction in three different ways. That is, it runs along the central axis in one direction, and as well as the other two directions will be in the opposite sides. Listen carefully. Here the voltage is periodically switched in three directions. One that runs through the central axis and the other two runs in the each directions at an angle of 60 degrees. That is, for suppose if you run the voltage in one direction for 5 minutes, you are going to switch to the other direction for 15 minutes. Again you are going to switch to the other direction, say for suppose 10 more minutes. Like that you are going to periodically switch the voltage in three different directions. One direction is through the central axis and the other two at an angle of 60 degrees from the each side. So this is, here there will be one electrode, here there will be second electrode connection, and here there will be a third electrode connection. So all together you are going to switch the voltage in three different directions. Okay, so this is to improve the resolution of the larger DNA fragments, so that you can easily separate the larger DNA fragments and you can easily visualize the each DNA fragment. For suppose if you do not apply this technique and if you go with the normal gel electrophoresis which contains a larger DNA fragments, what happens is this larger DNA, suppose this is the larger DNA fragment, okay, and when you subject it to the electrophoresis, what happens? See, for suppose there are 5 different DNA fragments in a solution. Say for suppose this is of 2 kb, this is of 20 kb, this is 50 kb, this is 80 kb and this is 100 kb. So these are the length of the different DNA fragments. So this 20 kb and 20 kb are the smaller DNA fragments that can be easily separated with this conventional method. But when it comes to this 50 kb, 80 kb and 100 kb larger DNA fragments, it is difficult to go with the agarose gel electrophoresis, because as they are larger in size, what happens is they cannot migrate well by this agarose gel electrophoresis. So what happens is they will form a stack and they will show a fuzzy band. That means they will appear like a smear. You will not get a discrete individual bands. Instead you will observe a fuzzy DNA bands because of the larger molecular weight. So to avoid this problem and to get a discrete DNA bands, we go with the pulsed field gel electrophoresis technique. By using this technique, we can separate the larger DNA fragments. For example, like yeast chromosome, genome of fungi, and as well as human chromosome, which are the larger DNA fragments. All can be successfully separated by using this technique of pulsed field gel electrophoresis. So this is the improved version of the agarose gel electrophoresis technique, where we are going to improve the resolution of the larger DNA fragments. So that is the only variation with the agarose gel electrophoresis technique. In this technique also we are going to use a standard gels of 1%. That is, we are going to use 1% agarose gels in this method also. And remember, as we are separating the larger DNA fragments using this technique, this duration of the technique will take more time, because the larger fragments will take more time for the migration compared to the smaller fragments. Here, when you separate these 3 DNA fragments, out of these 3 fragments, which will move faster, this 50 kilobase pair fragment, which is a smaller one compared to the other 2, will move faster compared to these 2. Okay, when you apply the electric voltage in the 3 different directions, what happens? The smaller one will align, followed by the next one, so that we are going to get a discrete DNA bands. Because when you apply a different electrical field, the smaller one will react fastly compared to the larger one, because the larger DNA fragments will take more time for the alignment compared to the smaller ones. Okay, I'll give you an example here. Suppose you are having a larger DNA fragment and you are having a moderate DNA and you have a small DNA. Okay, and here in pulsed field gel electrophoresis also we are going to use a standard 1% agarose gels for the separation of the larger DNA fragments. Here in this technique, when you apply alternating voltage gradient for improving the resolution of the larger DNA fragments, each DNA fragment will react to the charge at a different rate. This is the larger one, this is the moderate one, and this is the smaller one. Right? When you apply the electric field, what happens? The smaller ones will react quickly compared to the larger ones, because the larger DNA fragments will take more time for the alignment. In this process, the smaller DNA fragments will align quickly and they will form a distinct band, followed by the larger DNA fragments. So once you apply the electric field, what happens? the DNA will stretches out, right? Okay, the DNA will stretches out when you apply the electric field, and as this is the larger one, it will take more time to align compared to the smaller one, which will take less time to align. Okay, so out of these three different DNA fragments, the smaller ones will react quickly and they will stretch out and they will align more faster compared to the larger DNA fragments, and these larger DNA fragments will take more time for the alignment. In this technique of pulsed field gel electrophoresis, what we are supposed to do is we need to culture the bacteria, and those bacterial cells are to be embedded with the agarose. Okay, what we are going to do in this technique, we have to embed the bacterial cells in agarose, and then these bacterial cells are to be treated with the lysis buffer in order to extract the DNA. Earlier in the agarose gel electrophoresis technique, what we have done, after the isolation of the nucleic acids, that isolated DNA sample is loaded into a well along with the tracking dye. But when it comes to this technique, we are directly using the bacterial cells here that are to be embedded in a agarose solution. Then you are going to treat it with the lysis buffer for the extraction of the DNA. After you extract the DNA, it should be treated with the restriction enzymes. What's the role of restriction enzymes? They will specifically cleave the DNA. So they will cut the DNA into a several fragments, right? After the cleavage of the DNA fragments, those agar molds are to be placed into the wells of a gel, and then we run the electrophoresis in three different directions. That is, we are going to alter the voltage in the three different directions. That is, in one direction, in second direction, and in the third direction. That is, in the three different directions we are going to provide a voltage for the better resolution of the larger DNA fragments in this technique of pulsed field gel electrophoresis. Okay, I'll explain you about this technique in detail with the diagrammatic representation. Please listen carefully. For that, first what you need to do is, first you need to grow the test organism on a non-selective agar medium. Okay, and once you get the isolated colonies, those colonies are to be suspended in a SG buffer. I told you earlier that you have to embed the bacterial cells in the agarose. Right, before you go with that step, what you are supposed to do is you have to first grow the organism, right? And you have to subculture the test organism onto a non-selective agar medium. Once you get the isolated colonies, those isolated colonies are to be suspended in a SG buffer, which contains a combination of 75 millimolar NaCl and 25 millimolar EDTA with a pH of 7.5. When you mix the colonies in the buffer, you get a turbid solution. You just check the absorbance, and you are supposed to get an absorbance of 0.12 at a nanometers of 620. Right? What you are supposed to do here, you have to measure the absorbance using a spectrophotometer at a wavelength of 620 nanometers. You need to get an OD value of 0.12. Then you can proceed with the experiment. After you get a sufficient OD of 0.12 at 620 nanometers, you are going to mix that bacterial suspension with the molten agarose. Make sure you add the bacterial suspension to this molten agarose at a temperature of 50 degrees centigrade. Okay, and when you mix both the solutions together, that is, you are going to mix the bacterial suspension with the agarose solution. What you are going to do in the next step, you have to add that suspension to the plug molds. Okay, so mixed and poured into the plug molds. What are to be mixed? Bacterial suspension and the molten agarose are to be mixed, and they are dispensed into this plug molds, and leave it like that at a room temperature and allow them to set. Once they are set, what to be done in the next step? Those agarose plugs are to be removed. Okay, After you remove these agarose blocks, you have to add a lysis buffer and also with the proteinase K. After you add lysis buffer and proteinase K, what you are supposed to do? You have to incubate that solution for 1 hour at 54 degrees centigrade. I already mentioned the role of lysis buffer. Here we are going to extract the DNA from the bacterial cells. So for that reason we are going to treat the bacterial cells with the lysis buffer, where we are going to break the cell wall and the cell membrane to release the DNA. And moreover, we are going to add proteinase K. What is the role of proteinase K? The enzyme which will denature the protein. We are interested in DNA but not the protein. So we are going to remove the contaminants before we go with the electrophoresis technique. So these agar blocks are to be treated with the lysis buffer and proteinase K, followed by the incubation of 1 hour at 54 degrees centigrade. You can just put it in a water bath maintained at a temperature of 54 degrees centigrade. Then what you need to do is you have to remove the lysis buffer, decant the lysis buffer, and these plugs are to be washed with the TE buffer. Okay, after you carry out the process of lysis, that is where you are going to break the cell wall and the cell membrane, those agar blocks are to be washed for 4 times with the TE buffer. Okay, after the procedure of washing, what you are supposed to do? You have to transfer those agarose blocks into a fresh Eppendorf tube added with the restriction enzymes. These restriction enzymes will cut the DNA. So till this step what we have done? We have lysed the bacterial cell and we have extracted the DNA. Now we are treating that DNA with the restriction endonucleases enzymes, and those enzymes will cut the DNA into several fragments. Okay, and now we are going to separate those DNA fragments with the help of this pulsed field gel electrophoresis technique. Now after you treat with the restriction endonucleases, that is you are going to add restriction endonucleases into this Eppendorf vial which is containing a agarose block, and you are supposed to incubate it for 2 hours at a temperature of 37 degrees centigrade. After the incubation period, you have to remove these agarose blocks and you have to keep them in these wells. What we have done earlier in the agarose gel electrophoresis, we have directly loaded the DNA samples. But now here what we are doing, after treating with the restriction endonucleases, those DNA fragments which are present in this agarose block are directly kept in these wells. Okay, we are not directly adding the DNA sample here. Here we are extracting the DNA and we are subjecting the DNA to the restriction digestion. After the restriction digestion, what we are going to do? We are going to place those blocks into these wells and we provide the power supply to carry out the process of electrophoresis, whereby we are going to separate this larger DNA fragments. After the addition of the agar blocks into the wells, to prevent them coming out of the well, what we are supposed to do? We are sealing them by adding the 1% agarose solution and allow it to solidify. So once you are done casting the gel and then loading the samples, what you are supposed to do in the next step? You have to run the gel. So in this pulsed field gel electrophoresis, what I have told you earlier, we are going to periodically shift the voltage gradient, that is in the 3 direction. So the one direction is through the central axis and the other 2 directions in the opposite sides. Okay, so here you will have a electrode pair 1. Here you will have an electrode pair 2 and here you will have an electrode pair 3. And this is how we are going to separate the DNA fragments using, means the larger DNA fragments using this pulsed field gel electrophoresis technique. The process of electrophoresis will be carried out approximately for a period of 18 hours. Because here we are going to separate the larger DNA fragments. That's the reason they will take more time for the migration. After running the gel, you are supposed to remove the gel and then keep it in a solution for the purpose of staining. And this staining solution contains 1 microgram per ml of ethidium bromide. To visualize the DNA, we use a dye called ethidium bromide, right, which is an intercalating agent because it will intercalates within the DNA molecule. And when you place a gel in a gel dock or under UV light you can easily identify the DNA bands. Okay, so you have to stain the gel using an ethidium bromide. After staining, what you are supposed to do, you have to wash the gel with the distilled water. Wash twice with the distilled water and then you place the gel in a gel docker, or you can visualize the gel under a UV transilluminator so that you can identify a discrete DNA bands. This is how you perform pulsed field gel electrophoresis technique if you want to separate the larger DNA fragments. It's a slight variation with the conventional method of agarose gel electrophoresis. And coming to the applications of the pulsed field gel electrophoresis, it's an accurate method and the results are reproducible with a very good efficiency rate. And moreover, this technique is used for the molecular studies of foodborne pathogens. Example like Salmonella, E. coli, Shigella, Listeria, Campylobacter, etc. And moreover, this technique is especially used in wine industries to monitor the genetic stability of organisms which are involved in the fermentation process. So, and this technique of pulsed field gel electrophoresis is the first step in cutting and separating the DNA fragments, and those DNA fragments will be used for the cloning process. What is meant by cloning? We have to insert the gene of interest into a vector to make a multiple copies, right? So before we proceed with that method, this pulsed field gel electrophoresis is a technique which we go with for the cutting and the separating of the larger DNA fragments. Moreover, this technique is useful in mapping specific disease loci and also to identify the chromosomal rearrangements, RFLP, that is the restriction fragment length polymorphism, and also in the technique of DNA fingerprinting. Moreover, we can also detect the related strains in case of hospital outbreaks. These are some of the applications of the pulsed field gel electrophoresis technique. Of course, there are limitations as well, that is the equipment is very expensive and it's a time consuming process. Moreover, it requires skilled person. Moreover, the bands of the same size does not guarantee the same DNA. Okay, these are some of the limitations and the applications of the pulsed field gel electrophoresis technique. Hope you understand this session, and soon I'll come up with the next video. Thank you.